Unfortunately, until humans start to admit the problems that we have communicating, there's a lot that's going to be left unresolved. We need to first admit that there's a problem and then figure out how to solve as much of it as possible. We're never going to solve it completely. I think that much should be obvious, because even if we were to connect our brains to each other by wires and cables, we don't understand everything that goes on in our own head. How could we understand everything that goes on in someone else's head? It's just not going to happen. Now, take for example, the idea of knowing something. What is it to say, I know this? What exactly does that mean? Well, I'm planning on posting this video as a response to something by Aaron Ra, in which one of the definitions of knowing something that is mentioned there is that you're able to demonstrate it. Now, I have traveled quite a bit. I know a lot of the places I've been in some sense. I can't demonstrate it. It was hard enough to get there in the first place. There's a lot of stuff that I know that I'm not capable of demonstrating. As a result, I can't simply expect other people to accept the things I know as fact. It wouldn't be reasonable. I may know them as fact, but that's me. Now, even the word no. Well, okay, the spoken word no in English can mean the opposite of yes. Well, that's not the same as the written word no, N-O or K-N-O-W, which should have been pronounced know, maybe? Okay, see, here's the thing. It doesn't do any good to take the route of saying, well, okay, so there's no use in trying to communicate because we can't agree on what words mean. I will state this much for the record. I am a theist by some definitions. I am an atheist by some definitions. I am a deist by some definitions. I am an agnostic by some definitions. I am, to my knowledge, not a Baptist by any definition, although I have been baptized. I am, and maybe that fits someone's definition. I am, to my knowledge, not a Catholic by any definition. But then again, that is to my knowledge. The thing is, there are as many definitions of some words as there are people out there using them. So, what can we do about this? Well, there is the Esperanto language, which was intended by its inventor to be an international second language, but also goes a step farther in that it has a somewhat official set of definitions. Now, even these are not going to be perfect, but it is somewhat regulated by a body of people. I'm not exactly sure how this body of people is decided upon, but it is, to my knowledge, basically something agreed upon by the Esperanto community. Is that corruptible? Of course it is. Could it be manipulated? Of course it could. I don't think it is at this point in time. Probably not, because, and probably simply isn't because the language is not popular enough yet. It is not well known enough yet to have attracted the attention of the multi-billionaires out there that do such things, that use their money and their power to gain control over others. I hope it gets that big sometime, and I hope that we can find a way to keep it from becoming corrupted at that time. But one of the things that I think is very important in achieving that goal is to attach something to it which is completely open source. This is where the Esper language comes in, which is essentially a dialect of Esperanto with dialects of its own. Esper is completely open source. And has even less popularity than Esperanto, where Esperanto has some 10 million or so active speakers. Esper has practically nobody. But this can change because it is very easy to learn, and it has built into it the ability to have dialects based on written or spoken natural languages. So, is this an easy solution? No. Is it a good solution? I think so. Is it a perfect solution? Absolutely not. Nor do I think we will ever have one. I wish I had better news. But I'm facing the facts. I have my own definitions of words, and I use them the best I can. I use the word spirit in a way that seems to me to be representative of many of the different uses out there, and at the same time it flies in the face of the way the word is used by a lot of religions, because I find that particular use to be completely non-functional. It serves no purpose. We can't do anything with it. So that's just one word, one example. I hope someone out there will take this seriously and pass it on to someone else as insightful, as worth thinking about, and that they will do likewise, and maybe, just maybe, people will start to actually solve this problem instead of denying its existence. We do need to work on a solution. But as I said, first we got to recognize